My name is Eleanor Edmond. I live in Shoreview, but I'm a member of Gummel Gordon and a tour guide here. And partly because I collect Swedish folk dress, I have a collection of Sami outfits and clothes. And so I I was asked to help last year with the Vinterfest with some of my collection. And so I brought it last year, and it was successful enough that they decided to do something similar this year and expand the idea of reindeer herding. So that's why I'm here to tell about what I know a little bit about the Sami area. I've been in Lapland several times, and I've been at the big fair that happens in Jokkmokk up north of the Arctic Circle about 6 or 7 years ago, which has been going on for 400 years. It's where they sell their crafts, and they also have political activities and legislative meetings and work on things that the Sami people from the 4 countries are interested in lobbying, I guess, would be the one of the words. Okay. The Sami people are a very old indigenous group of people. I have learned just this year that they are the only indigenous people in Europe. So they have existed for thousands of years. They live north of the Arctic Circle, and it goes from Norway to Sweden to Finland to Russia. So it's a large swath right across those northern areas of those countries. So the Sami, in one sense, are one group of people, but they all are citizens of different countries. There are also, I believe, and this is where I'm not sure of everything, that I don't know the whole history, but there are different tribal areas or different family groups. And I've seen that on Facebook because I see pictures of, for instance, different kinds of outfits. But the costumes, I shouldn't call them costumes, they're folk dress. The dress that they wear for formal activities are very similar, because the interesting piece of the Sami, they are outdoor people. And so their outfits always include the colors of the outdoors. Okay. So they include dark blue and bright red and yellow and green in a variety of combinations. Okay. So the poncho that I'm wearing is not Sami, but it's one that my dear mom made for me years ago when ponchos became popular, and I realized this week that it was the color of the Sami flag. So that's why I'm wearing what I am today. No, they have a shorter summer. It's, the land of the midnight sun. So in the winter, there are only a few hours in the middle of the day when if it's sunny, if the sun will come up. When I was in Iceland a few years ago traveling to Sweden, I had a layover there. I asked them, the counter girls, the young women at the counters, I said, when will it get light? This was around 11 o'clock. And they said, well, if it's not too cloudy, maybe around 1:30 or 2. And then it will get dark again in a couple of hours. Whereas in the summer, you have the sun barely goes down behind the trees. So it's light. You have almost 24 hours of light up north of that Arctic Circle. So it's and there's very lush vegetation. There are numbers of different kinds of berries that grow in the woods and along the roads that are treasured by everybody. So it's a very interesting weather area. Now, the Sami, and I can't name these because I haven't memorized them, but the Sami have, similar to some of the folks that live in Alaska, they have, I think it's 8 different names for the seasons. So they have a pre-spring, a spring, and a post-spring, and a pre-winter, and a winter, and a post-winter. Those aren't the names, but that's the idea, because their life is so dependent on the weather. So it's very important to them if there's going to be a large amount of snow, because if they're herders, because that makes a difference if their herds can eat. So the seasons are very important, and they've been named. They also, I believe, similar to the native people in Alaska, have different names for snow because they have so many different kinds of snow, which, we just have snowstorms. So that's one of the interesting things about the people. One of the other things that I've learned because I've been reading both Swedish and Lapland newspapers online. I can't read the Sami language, but I can read most Swedish, and I can read some Norwegian. Some of the political issues right now are preservation of their culture and preservation of their language, because it's very similar to other indigenous groups. Years ago, the young children were not allowed to speak Sami dialects in school. And so the older folks now who can speak the language are working on preserving that and then preserving their cultural norms. While at the same time, similar to any other group, they are integrated more in those countries. So some of the Sami men and women are designing clothes that are inspired by the old folk dress, but not exactly like it. So their handcrafts are beautiful and have changed over a period of years. So you have the antique handcrafts, and then you also have newer contemporary ones that are inspired by the old ones. And one of the things that the Sami people are known for that are sold in great quantities at the fair are knives with these beautiful handles that are made of. And here's again where I can't tell the difference. The handles are very often made with either the bone or the antler material of the reindeer. Now they may also be made of wood, but they're beautifully carved and handsome and also very expensive. There's a big museum in Jokkmokk that's called the Aite Museum, and it focuses totally on Sami culture. And so they have huge dioramas of, for instance, a lavu, the tent that the people live in with cradles for the children, and models dressed up in their local dress. They have an area that shows jewelry, handcrafts of all kinds, and of course a bookstore and a coffee shop. You have to have a coffee shop. Well, I think the thing that, since I'm not from Scandia, but I am on Facebook and I do read online, what I've seen is last year was very successful. It was a beautiful day. There was enough snow to make it nice for outdoor activity, and it wasn't so cold that you couldn't be out for a couple hours at a time. And it was so successful that, hey, we got to do this again. So this one now is bigger, and there are more sponsors. There's special coffee. There are special events. There's going to be a reading here later on. We've got reindeer that I understand have come and are downstairs on the outside. And so it's just, if you have something that's successful, you figure out, how am I going to make it better? And so we have a little larger display of Sami items up here, but we also have more activities for the Vinterfest. So it's kind of like, maybe I can say it's almost like the summer taco days, which is the Scandia festival in the summer, which I think for a primarily Swedish town is really neat. Because I've also found out, just another bit that I know because I have Swedish friends, Friday in Sweden is taco day. So some of my Swedish friends have tacos on Friday. So they're not all meatballs and mashed potatoes.